A full interview of former NRO and NGA officer David Grusch with journalist Ross Coulthart was published by NewsNation on June 12, 2023. Mr. Grusch asserts that the U.S. government has proof of alien life and that there are spacecraft from another species. He mentions that there is a significant number of these spacecraft, some of which have landed while others have crashed. Grusch states that he worked with the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force and held a leadership role in the UAP portfolio for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. He tells Coulthart that he was trusted with intimate secrets and was regularly called upon by high-ranking officials in the Department of Defense and the intelligence community for advice. He mentions that despite having high-level clearance and access to various programs, the UAP task force denied his access to a crash retrieval program, which involves retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, or spacecraft, that have either landed or crashed. When asked about the number of spacecraft from another species, Grusch confirms that there is a significant number of them. Grusch explains that he initially thought the claims were totally nuts and suspected deception. However, he received oral testimony, documents, and other proof from current and former senior intelligence officers who claimed to be part of the program. He couches his statements as non-human intelligence, NHI, or potentially extraterrestrial, but does not claim to know their specific origin. Grusch suggests the possibility of these beings coming from different physical dimensions, as described in quantum mechanics. The interview highlights the shock and sleepless nights Grusch experienced upon learning about the existence of intelligent species potentially engaging with Earth. He emphasizes that he initially approached the topic as a non-believer, but became convinced after methodical interviewing and ensuring there was no cover-up of another program. When asked about the way how such non-human intelligence could travel to Earth undetected, Grusch suggests that these crafts may not be traveling through space as commonly understood. He references the possibility of additional spatial dimensions based on mathematical calculations and empirical observations. He speculates about the possibility of higher dimensional space, where linear time may function as a physical dimension that can be traversed. Grusch suggests that these crafts might not necessarily be extraterrestrial, but could originate from a higher dimensional physical space co-located with our own. Grusch explains that the exotic nature of these technologies is based on specific properties he was briefed on, such as engineered isotopic ratios and the presence of strange, heavy atomic metals higher up in the periodic table. He firmly states that the materials used in these crafts are not of earthly origin and are sophisticatedly engineered. When asked about the duration of the cover-up, Grusch mentions that the first recovery of a UAP occurred in 1933 in Magenta, Italy, during the regime of Benito Mussolini. He explains that the Italian government moved the recovered craft to a secure airbase until 1944 to 1945, when the Vatican informed the Americans about it. Grusch implies that some individuals within the Catholic Church and the Vatican are aware of the existence of non-human intelligence on Earth. Regarding the 1947 Roswell UFO crash incident, Grusch is unable to discuss the details due to restrictions. However, he expresses skepticism about the changing stories and explanations provided by the U.S. Air Force, from initially calling it a flying disc to later referring to it as a weather or spy balloon. He believes that the Air Force's analysis published in 1994 was a total hack job and argues that it conflated multiple situations involving crash test dummies and mogul balloons. Grusch suggests that the reason for the secrecy lies in maintaining feudalistic dominance and asymmetrical technological advantage, which fuels the war machine. He states that encounters with non-human intelligence continued through the 1950s and 1960s, and the cover-up persisted. Grusch discusses the footage from 2015 and 2004, stating that optical engineering experts analyzed them and concluded that the objects captured were not conventional jets. He asserts that the Tic Tac video in particular shows a technical vehicle that is not of this world. Furthermore, he says that there are credible witnesses who could testify to Congress about encounters with large spacecraft, some as big as a football field. Regarding the crash retrieval program, Grusch reveals that the government has never publicly acknowledged its existence, but it has involved private aerospace companies. He expresses concerns about the unethical nature of the arrangement, where private companies analyze the retrieved materials and potentially sell their insights back to the government for profit. The interview addresses the categorical denials from high-level officials in the U.S. government, including recent statements from the head of the Pentagon's UAP investigations program. Grusch states that he knows Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick and expressed concerns to him about his findings. He suggests that if Dr. Kirkpatrick does not follow up on those concerns and makes the same investigative discoveries, it would be concerning and possibly misleading the American public. David Grusch discusses the possibility that the American public is being lied to about the non-human intelligence (NHI) phenomenon. He acknowledges that there are concerns about the intentions of the NHIs, stating that not all of them are friendly. Grusch suggests that there have been instances where non-human intelligence may have caused harm or fatalities to human beings. He reveals that there have been attempts to bring down non-human craft and that offensive actions have been taken against them. While he cannot provide specific details due to classified operations, he indicates that there were malevolent events involving non-human intelligence. Grusch explains that the United States is not the only country that has encountered NHI and their technology. He states that geopolitical rivals like Russia and China also have their own crash retrieval programs, which they exploit for military purposes. He describes the situation as a multi-decade Cold War that has been ongoing, highlighting the need to level the playing field and hold other nations accountable for any unethical or illicit activities related to the subject. When asked why Russia or China have not spoken publicly about the phenomenon, Grusch suggests that they may be in a similar position, where they understand the destabilization factors involved but have not taken aggressive actions due to the advanced nature of the non-human intelligence. Grusch mentions an internal document he has written that refers to agreements that risk putting our future in jeopardy. When asked if there are agreements between the American government and non-human intelligences, he states that he would like national leadership to investigate and uncover the details of such agreements. He does not provide a direct answer to the question. Coulthart and Grusch discussed a document from 1971, an agreement between the U.S. and the USSR on measures to reduce the risk of nuclear war. Article 3 of this document serves as evidence that the two superpowers were aware of the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP or UFOs. Grusch expresses hope and emphasizes that there are good people within the government who want change. He wants the technology related to non-human intelligence to be shared with the rest of the world, similar to how nuclear physics is studied and shared in academia. As for how non-human intelligence would react to the revelation that humans are aware of their presence, Grusch suggests that they have allowed humanity to suffer from wars and conflicts without intervening. He believes they may be neutral and observing how humans exercise their free will. Grusch intends to start a scientific foundation and is willing to brief elected officials with the necessary clearance on the classified information he could not share during the interview. He hopes that the subject of non-human intelligence can serve as a unifying factor for humanity.